next size over 18. So he said, well, certainly not in one of our stores. So I thought, right, up yours, pal. So I hopped it across the road to John Lewis. And I went to John Lewis, and I went to their menswear department, and it was almost like they'd meeting his twin brother. I said, I want a shirt, please. Anything, I don't care what colour, as long as it fits. Anything with anything over an 18 neck. Over 18? Are you mad? You know, good grief. We don't serve anything for gargantuan elephantine people like you.
Yeah.
And that's what, he didn't say that, but that's what his look said to me.
Yeah.
He said, have you tried High and Mighty? And have you tried Smack in the Mouth?
Yeah, I always find that when I go in a shop that sells smaller clothes, I always feel so uncomfortable. And you know, like I said, you can just see the staff just giving you filthy looks like you don't belong in there just because I happen to be bigger than sort of their...
Yeah, but these are massive international chain stores. In the little town that I live in, which is a small town, there's only 2 places that sell clothes, I think, and a friend of mine runs one of them, and I can go in there and buy a shirt any time of day or week or year I want. And I can get anything from 18 to, he tells me, 22 or 23, I can't remember what it is now. But when I told him this story, he fell about laughing. He said, how the hell do they stay in business?
Yeah. I mean, they obviously don't listen to the news, do they? When obesity is so much on the increase. I mean, before long, they will go out of business because there won't be anything people left to buy the clothes.
Well, they won't. Karen, thank you very much for the call. And it's not only the clothing, by the way. It was the attitude. I don't know how much those 2 stores I mentioned spend on advertising, but I imagine it's, well, the thick end of several million a year. How much do you spend on staff recruitment? 6months? These were 2 of the rudest, most unpleasant people I've ever met in my life. And I wasn't on a bad day. I was feeling quite cheerful and happy and being polite. When I went in, it was somewhat different when I went out. Byron is in Sheffield. Byron, good morning. You're on talkSPORT.
Hiya, morning.
Morning.
I just wanted to bring to attention this no dream number, what National Lottery's doing.
I don't know how that works.
Well, I don't know how it works myself, as it happens, but what I do know is, I think it's a bit of a dirty tactic what it's done, because whereas you go and you put your numbers down, or you get a lucky dip or whatever, what they start doing with this one is putting the numbers on the bottom of the ticket anyway, whether you purchase them or not, and then putting it entered or not entered at side of it. So
the numbers are there, and you have to choose whether you want them or not.
To pay for them or not.
Right.
Now, psychology of that is, it's like if you put your same numbers on every week, 1 week you don't put them on, there's that fear of it coming up. So you've got these numbers anyway, and it's like, if you don't put your money on, and they come up, you know what I mean? You're absolutely...
You feel really angry, wouldn't you?
You're devastated, so you feel obliged to, like, go and to buy this.
Well, of course, it is your choice whether you gamble on the lottery or not. Nobody makes you buy a card.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, they give you numbers to...
They don't give you the number unless you're playing the lottery.
No, they do. This is what they've started doing, putting a number on the ticket.
No, they're not sending it round to your house and saying you've got to have this.
No, I know.
You go and choose it.
It's a different lottery game altogether.
I know, but you pick it up and you say, I want to do this. I want to have a go on the lotto. And whether you choose to do that or not is up to you. Having chosen to go on the lotto, it seems to me they're then offering you an opportunity to win on a preset number. Well, I'm not saying whether it's good, bad or indifferent, but the preset number is there. You either choose to have it or you don't.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is, the first time that these numbers come up, it's like you wish that you'd have had a go. So you feel like when you put that pound on, you feel obliged to have a go on another one, just in case they do come out, them numbers. That's
the theory of gambling. Thank you very much, Byron. That's exactly what happens in any gamble. You make a choice as to whether you want to bet on the offer that's being made, and if you don't, you don't. And if you pick a horse in a race and say, I think that's going to win, and you don't have a bet on it, and it strolls up by 20 lengths, you think, damn, wish I had a bet on that. Same theory, really. Sorry. 08704 20 20 20 is the number. We're talking about gambling, particularly with reference to the internet and the way that's changed things. I think it's changed things much more than we've even exposed during the programme. So many more people, it seems, are now having a bit of a flutter. Kids that would normally not ever have considered themselves interested in having a gamble find it, because it's so all over the internet. It doesn't matter what site you go on. Some of those sidebars, or whatever they are, I'm not quite sure what these things are called, are nothing more than an offer for you to spend some money on something you didn't want in the first place. By the time you ploughed your way through and found exactly what it is you were looking for, you've confused to the point you can't remember why you were there in the first place. Ian is in Warwickshire. Ian, good morning, you're on talkSPORT.
Yeah, good evening, Michael. Or shall I say good morning there? My problem was with clothing. My upper body is, well, from 38 waist to 58 chest to 22 neck.
Yeah.
And then I have the problem with a 79 leg.
79?
Yeah.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'8" and 3/4, about the dartboard height. Yeah, just about.
If you're 79-inch leg, you're a little taller than that, old chap.
No, I'm 5'9" and 3/4, but somewhere around that way.
Do you know how tall 79 inches is?
How tall 79?
Yeah.
Well, it's 79, but it's not. I don't think it's classified as inches nowadays. It's centimetres or some bloody thing.
Oh, right, I'm going to say, if you've got a 79-inch leg, you could go and kiss Nelson.
Oh, hardy be hardy. But my main, legs is my main problem. I think it's 79 centimetres.
Yeah, if your inside leg is 79, you're 6'9" to the crutch.
But I'm and I'd be used as a car jack, I reckon, or a ship jack.
You certainly wouldn't get an argument from me.
The next, like I say, is about 22, 58 on the chest and the waist.
Right.
And it is a right bitch to get that, and it's even greater to get the trousers to fit, unless the leg is I'm 7-8 foot tall.
Yes. So you can't buy clothes off the peg?
No. I've tried that, and okay, I got the leg right, but then the waist and the rest of it wasn't right at all. But then neck size, there's 17 and a half, and I'm thinking, hang on, when I was a school kid, I was 17 and a half. I was
you're talking about neck
11,
size.
12 years of age. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for anybody, 18, I'm told, thank you for the call, 18, I'm told, is about average in this country for a man around the neck. For a comfortable fit, you don't want the bloody shirt choking you, do you? That's about the average size. So for stores the size and the size of them is hardly important. It's the number of them across the country, across the world. Not to stock a shirt over 18 inches in the neck, to me, is utterly ludicrous. And they won't be getting not that it'll bother them, my customer game on anything. I won't buy anything in their shop again. I'd rather starve than buy one of their sandwiches. Do you know what I mean? Not that they'll care. Aidan is in Newry in North Ireland. Aidan, good morning, you're on talkSPORT.
Hello, Mike, how are you?
I'm not sure at the moment. My
You're
shirt's
not sure.
a bit tight.
Well, if you were 5'2", you'd be complaining a hell of a lot more than you are currently.
You're 5'2", are you?
Yeah, you know what I mean. I struggle big time. But anyway, that's not me.
Can't you buy kids' clothes?
Don't be so insulting.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, listen. Talking about gambling. You mentioned gambling. Constituting a legitimate business.
Yes.
Most businesses purport to provide some sort of a service which is of benefit to a client.
Right.
And I think, gambling has got to be purely exploitative insofar as it capitalizes purely on people's frailties. And I would question whether you could then contend that it's a legitimate business.
Well, it's an interesting point. Which came first, the gambler or the bookmaker?
Well, Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could look at it either way. But I've heard stories of working men throwing a week's wages into a poker machine on a Friday evening, and the wife having to come in and beg for the money back of the proprietor of a gambling institution.
But whose fault is that?
Well, yeah, of course you could say whose fault is that. This is the guy who's come in and he's decided to do this.
But he might come up to you or to me and say, look, here's my week's wages. I'll bet you my week's wages I can jump that horse, or I can jump that bridge, or I can beat that train. He doesn't have to go to a bookie to lose his money. He's a pillock.
But,
he's going to lose it one way or another.
Yeah, but, you talked earlier about choice, Is it your choice that you gamble?
Yes.
Choice presupposes some element of rational decision-making.
That's right.
I would suggest that when you're in that sort of scenario, the idea of some rational choice is a misnomer. It's out the window.
But how are you in that scenario, to use your phrase, without choosing to be there? You don't get dragged in by the scruff of your neck into a bookie shop.
No.
You walk in of your own free will.
I would agree. I would agree with that. But I would also say that at some point, rational thought, and it's got to go out the window, because no one stands and puts their week's wages into a poker machine or a bridge machine.
Except an idiot.
Well, no. I mean, what about an alcoholic? Is an alcoholic an idiot?
Yes.
Is he?
Yeah.
Why?
It's a choice.
It is not a choice. How is it a choice for an alcoholic or a drug addict, a heroin addict?
That's a choice as well.
To take another fix. That's not a choice.
Of course it's a choice.
Mike, you can't contend that is a rational choice.
Absolutely, 100% I do.
Well, that's the basis of my contention, because I would suggest that, when you're in that scenario, it's not a rational choice. Someone with an alcohol problem at some point loses the ability to make a rational decision whether I should or I shouldn't take a drink. And I would contend also that it's the same with gambling or whatever else. And the other thing I would say, because I've taken up enough of your time, but the other thing I would say is gambling, from what I've seen, has got to be one of the most destructive addictions on the planet.
Of course.
Because
if you're addicted,
you can lose everything so quickly.
Yeah, but addiction is not the fault of the bookmaker. It's not the fault of the facility provider. I'm not in any way in favour of bookies. I love to take them to the cleaners, and I have a really good laugh when I see them go bust, as they occasionally do. But they are not to blame for you being an addicted gambler.
No, I agree with that one. I agree with that one.
You can't blame the pub because you're an addictive drinker.
No, I agree with that as well.
In that case, we'd agree, Aidan.
Okay,
Thank you very much for the call.
First time I've listened to your programme, and I'll listen again. Cheers,
Of course you will.
Okay.
08704 20 20 20. That's our number. This is talkSPORT.
Got a pt.4 in the packet, sir. Only a pair of French knickers.
And then, of course, let them out again. 08704 20 20 20 is our number. We're talking about gambling, the internet, and the relationship between the two. And we're talking about shops that sell clothes, but only for the average person. Because if you're very slightly over, or in some cases perhaps a little under the average size, they don't want to know you. They're quite happy just selling to the average person. Well, good luck to them. Bill is in Torquay. Bill, good morning. You're on talkSPORT.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
My health's not in question, Bill.
Isn't it really? Well, it's a nice show. I've been enjoying it this evening. Just going back to a point you made earlier with reference you getting thrown out for counting cards.
Yeah.
Well, I find that very difficult to believe, only on the basis of... Well, it
happened.
Well, yes, I don't, I'm not disputing you as a liar, but to count cards, usually on a system of blackjack, they use 5 decks.
No, this wasn't blackjack.
What were you playing?
Gin rummy.
Gin rummy in a casino?
Yes.
And where was that?
It's somewhere, I'm not quite sure, it's in central London. But I was taken there by a friend of mine who is a taxi driver.
Yeah.
He took me in there and introduced me to the people who ran the place. Me not being much of a card sharp, they asked me what I wanted to play, and they told me what was available, and I said gin. And so I sat with these people who were playing gin, and I counted the cards.
Well, I always considered, even playing gin rummy, they have a dealer card.
Sorry?
A dealer card that goes into shuffle. It's like a shuffle card.
Right, let's just get to the point where this happened. The card, they went right through the pack, right? The pack was turned, as it would be, at the end. I could have named you the first 10 cards off that pack. Because I counted them as they went down.
Well, I apologise for that, because I didn't hear at the beginning it was gin rummy.
I didn't say what it was. No.
No. I was just thinking of the blackjack situation where it's impossible to count the cards because they use a blank card in amongst the deck. That once you reach that blank card, the cards are shuffled, so any card behind that deck, obviously you can't count.
No, I don't know what blackjack is. Is that pontoon?
Yeah, it's very similar, yes.
Yeah. Right, but no, it was gin. Which is a great game.
Yeah, yes, I do agree, but, I feel sorry for you to be thrown out, really, if you're spending money for counting cards. And if it's that easy...
But is it illegal? They said it was illegal.
Yeah, but what I can't understand is...
There isn't any law relating to gambling.
No, not technically, no, not even to gambling debts.
No.
But, it seems funny that a casino is operating a game like that, which is so easily... how can I say, mastered.
I would have thought so.
Because usually they're set up with all their odds in their own favour.
I don't know who the other people were playing.
Yeah.
There were 3 others playing. And I was pretty close to gin at the time. And I thought, when that pack goes over, I've got it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, isn't it? I've had a fair round of tours of casinos here and abroad, and I've never come across gin rummy being played in a casino.
Have you not?
No, I've seen blackjack, poker of various kinds.
Oh, these are the up front tables.
Yeah.
But if you go to the dining areas around the edge, there are almost invariably less formal games. There's gin. There's another one I never remember the name of.
Kaluki, something like
that. Oh, God, what is that game? I should know, it's a Cornish game and I can't think of it.
Euchre.
Euchre.
Yeah, Euchre. They play it down in Devon now.
Yeah, I played that in a casino as well.
Have you really?
Yeah. Well, not in a casino, but in a club.
Yeah, I was saying a club, fine, but I've never seen it in casino or licensed gambling premises.
Well, this was a fully licensed gambling premises, whether you call it a casino or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
It had doormen, that looked like all-in wrestlers.
Yeah, as usual.
Yeah. But,
okay.
All right, Bill, thank you for the call.
Thanks very much.
That's all right, no problem. Tom is in somewhere or other. Where are you, Tom?
Just outside Cheltenham, Mike.
Good morning.
Good morning. Firstly, card counting is not illegal. I think the way it works is because you're in their establishment, they can ask you to leave, but it's not actually illegal. Also, about the guy earlier, it amazed me how people can actually complain when they're losing £2,500, and then the bookmaker rings them up and they're almost in shock that they've lost this amount of money. But surely every time he was making a bet on his horse or his dog, it asks you to confirm the bet. So I don't know it must be a little bit stupid. I think if he's hitting £50 or £100 every time and not going to realise that he's lost £2,500, it's almost beggars belief.
So I have an account with a bookie because it's easier that way. I think if I tried to put £2,500 bet on, he'd laugh at me.
Yeah, usually most of those have some sort of credit thing as well, and he's probably quite hard in gambling. But the other thing about the gambling, I'm going to say about the poker on the internet. So a lot of people, it makes things easier. There's a group of us who play together on the internet, but in various locations through work, and it actually saves all the time of driving down and petrol money and wasting time. You can just sit in your own house, open up within sort of 10, 15 minutes, and you're there, and it's amazing now how many people, sort of young, old, middle-aged, are all in there playing.
Young and old? I mean, what are we talking about here?
Well, you go from... obviously, when you're playing, you can talk to people as well in the little chat boxes. Yeah. And you'll have people on there that just turned 18 and who can't legally gamble in America, because obviously it's 21 over there, but who can play on the internet. And then going up to people, I'm playing against people in their 60s, 70s. You wouldn't normally think would be gamblers, but obviously because you're at home, it takes away. That's the one thing why I think the internet is to blame, in that the verification of the age of a player seems to be somewhat slipshod. There's only one
and also the ownership of the card.
Yeah, there's only one site that I've actually been on where I registered a card, and they actually sent me an email back and said before we actually grant you the account, because it was a Maestro card. I'm almost getting on for 30 now, but when I put it on, they said we need you to send through a copy of your passport or birth certificate just to verify who you are. But every other site, you literally, as long as you've got a card and a number, and you know the address of the card holder, you're on within 2 or 3 minutes.
Amazing, isn't it? Tom, I'm going to move on because the line isn't very good between us, and it's difficult to hear what you're saying, but thank you for the call. I think the age thing is something where there is no argument. There has to be some way of verifying the age of the player. If you go through all the checks and balances and you're still convinced the player is over the age of whatever it is to gamble, 18, is it? Then fair enough, if you've done all the checks and balances. But if you don't do any, as some of them don't, then I think that the company that is running that site should be dealt with rather swiftly and rather harshly. Graham is in Bradford. Graham, good morning. You're on talkSPORT.
Good morning, Mike. I rang about the clothes issue, but I just mentioned about the gambling.
Yeah.
I don't have the internet. I'm 43 and I don't have the internet, and one of the reasons I don't have it is because I'm a foolish gambler.
Yeah.
And also there are other temptations on there that I might be sort of tempted by.
What, the porn?
The porn, yeah. I've got mates who are just hooked on it, you know, and I don't want to go there, you know.
Well, I went on the internet, and I probably shouldn't say this, but don't try it yourself. Well, you can try it yourself, see if it works for you. I wanted to book a canal boat.
Right.
In Holland.
Right.
I waded through probably 50 pages of porn.
Yeah, well, that's exactly why I don't want it, you know.
To get to the page I wanted about canal boats.
Exactly.
Because the minute you put it in Holland, all you get is sex.
Yeah. Well, I've got mates who spend hours watching it, and I just have got better things to do. So, but about
this wasn't the porn. This was the you know, press this button and you'll get a picture of, you know, Nancy doing whatever she does, and oh, get off, and you keep hitting that red square thing, the red cross thing, to get rid of it, and you can't get rid of it.
Well, that's it. If I need to use the internet, I can go down to the library and go on there, you know, their machines. If I need to do anything.
I mean, I'm not speaking out of turn, because I called my wife. I said, look at this. I said, I'm trying to get a canal boat booking in Holland. I said, look at the crap that's coming up. And it was all, you know, visit Miss So-and-so at this place in Amsterdam and Rotterdam and all over the place.
Well, they say that 95% of the stuff on there is porn, don't they?
Well, I wouldn't be at all...
There's a high percentage of it is stuff like, you know...
I wouldn't be at all surprised.
Yeah.
Anyway,
about the clothes, Mike, yeah. I'm quite a big bloke, and like I said, you just in the sort of normal menswear sort of departments, you can't get anything. But I've noticed that in the small independent shops, they do for the youngsters, they go up to like 4XL, and that's because a lot of the young kids now are big fat kids. Yeah. So I'm actually 43 and I'm walking down like a rapper or a hip hop. You know, like hip-hoppers, because I wear that sort of urban gear, you know.
Because the only thing you can get the fit.
Yeah, it's the only thing I can get to fit, yeah. So I can't get a decent, you know, suit or a nice tailored shirt, but I can get a, you know, sort of, a nice sort of urban t-shirt.
It doesn't make any sense, does it?
It doesn't, it's crazy, really. It's crazy.
I mean, if 18 neck, or 18.5 inch, or 19 inch neck is so gross and so obscene, then why is it that the average is only 18?
Yeah, I know. I mean, the fact is that we have gone, you know, 3 or 4 sizes bigger in the last few years, and you know, because I don't know why it is. It's probably because of the diet we have and the lifestyles. But people are generally bigger, and you think that the manufacturers and shops are cotton on.
Well, I was going to write to Marks and Spencer's, John Lewis, and the other one whose name I can't remember, and tell them what I thought of them. But I thought, why should I bother? It'll just go in the bin, the same as anything else, because they don't actually give a damn.
No, you're right there, Mike, they don't. But, I mean, like I said, you can always get some of the urban style clothes if you go in the independent shops.
I can imagine what would happen if I turned home looking like that, mate. Graham, thank you for the call. Another big bloke is Mike Mendoza. He's with you at 1.
It's funny, you know, I tried to get porn the other day. All I got was canal boats. Actually, I do.
How did I know you were going to say that?
I do love the canal boats, actually. I do them every couple of years through the...
I've never missed. I've never, ever missed in the last... 150 years.
Really? I'm going to try the French ones next.
They're very good.
Try those.
They don't do proper canal boats on the French waterways.
And also, you don't have to do the locks yourself either,
Well, not on some of them, no.
Yeah, it's electric or something. It's much easier, so I've been told.
Yeah.
Number of things, Mike, talked about this morning. I'm going to continue talking about Princess Diana and the images that appeared of her, of course. I was going to talk about Jean-Charles Menendez.
Yeah.
It looks like no police will be charged, although I think health and safety issues, apparently. I would have thought
those guys are going back on duty with guns.
Well, things are they... my understanding is, and I got this on very, very good source of information, it was not the police that shot this guy. And this is one of the reasons why I think there's a bit of a dilemma going on here. My understanding is that these were actually SAS officers that actually shot them.
That's even more frightening.
Oh, exactly, and the police, of course, are taking the brunt of this. And it'll be interesting to see what does happen in the long run, whether this actually does come out officially. But my understanding is certainly, and this comes from a very, very good source from inside the Metropolitan Police Force, it was not a policeman that shot that poor lad.
I know that they're saying, and I've spoken to a lawyer about this, and he tried to persuade me that I'm wrong, but I still can't see why it isn't murder.
Well, yes, it's almost corporate murder, though, isn't it?
You know what they're saying is manslaughter.
Yeah.
And I can't, for the life of me, reconcile the way in which the law is framed and come up with manslaughter.
Well, I think today's events are even more
Did they
weird.
mean to kill him? Yes.
Yes.
That's murder.
Yeah. No, without a doubt. But
manslaughter, they didn't mean to kill him.
Where does health and safety come in all this?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, any armed copper should be going the other way to me. That's health and safety as far as I'm concerned.
Without a doubt. I'll see you later.
Indeed, Mike. Thanks a lot. Mike Mendoza, he's with you from 1 on talkSPORT. Good morning, I'm Matt Dickin. This is talkSPORT. I'm going to Bournemouth. Martin, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. It's just a quick question going back to the guy you spoke to at about 12:30, when you was discussing about gambling being an illness.
Yes.
And you said to him that, well, people who have a gambling addiction and alcoholics are just idiots.
Mm-hmm.
How anyone could say alcoholism comes from an idiot, I don't understand, because if you spoke to any medical practitioner, they will tell you it's an illness. It's the most common illness in this country.
Well, I've spoken to one, and he said it's a weakness.
Well, how come there's 100,000 groups in this country where they all say it's an illness and the amount of people who die from it because they cannot control it? They try desperately, they try everything. They go into treatment centres, they try every drug available, they can't control it. It is an illness. So to call them an idiot, I think it's just absolutely disgusting.
Well, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. I think anybody that allows himself to be ruled by alcohol is an idiot.
But it's a drug that's in the system, no matter how it begins. But they try so hard. I mean, I know so many people who have died through it. And they were desperate to stop, they just couldn't, their bodies could not stop. They tried everything. And it is classified as an illness.
Well, one of the things that does happen, and this was part of the discussion I had with the medical person I was speaking to, is if you are addicted to alcohol, the worst thing you can do is stop drinking altogether. Because the sudden shut-off is likely to be so traumatic for your system that you will make yourself very ill. But you have to be weaned off. And
well, you're weaned off because there are drugs you can take, such as Librium, alongside vitamins.
Well, I don't know what
which will assist you with the shakes at the beginning, but then you do need counselling and brilliant systems like the AA and to help people.
See, I know people that have been alcoholics and are now completely dry and don't even...
I'm one of them.
You're one of them?
Yeah.
So how did you do that? With willpower?
Well, initially it was. I mean, I went into a very bad place. I mean, you lose your work, you lose your family.
Yep.
The rest of it happens. So I went to see the doctor. He put me on a detox system, but at the same time, every night for months on end, I was at AA meetings. So
I've got a very good friend who's I suppose the phrase is recovered alcoholic.
Yes, a recovering alcoholic.
And he has not a drink, to my certain knowledge, for maybe 15 years. And he drank from morning till night. He woke up in the morning and he had to have a drink.
Yeah.
He couldn't get out of bed without half a bottle or something.
Yeah.
And he nearly killed himself.
Yeah.
And it was only by persuasion from me and another friend that we said to him, for whatever's sake, pull yourself together. You really don't need this. And with help from the other guy who is a doctor, and myself, just keeping an eye on him, talking to him, making sure we're always there if he wanted to phone or wanted to go out or whatever he wanted to do. We were always available to him over a period. He stopped drinking.
Yeah, with support, because he had been ill, and with any illness you need treatment. That's why I thought the word, he's calling him an idiot, I thought it was so harsh, because some people are so lonely that they don't have the luxury of getting support like from people like yourself on the...
Well, yeah, I understand that. Maybe the word sounded harsh, but if that one word made somebody look at themselves in the mirror and think, am I really an idiot? I'll stop. Because I'd hate to be called an idiot.
Yeah. I mean, that's I know, because there's so many people I know who didn't understand the problem.
Yeah.
Because they're just not experienced in it, but with the right treatment... Because, as I said, the only word I can ever use for it, and I do believe it.
If you would go to, if you and I were to go out, say, tomorrow lunchtime,
yeah,
for a game of darts at the pub,
yeah,
and I said to you, I'll get a pint in,
yeah,
what would you do?
I wouldn't.
Would you drink it?
I wouldn't have a pint.
Half a pint?
Because I've had enough education and treatment to know that it's not the 5th or 6th drink you have. It's that first drink you have.
Is it? Because that's what's concerning me. I wonder if it's necessary, and I hope I'm not upsetting anybody by this, if it's necessary for a recovering alcoholic to go without alcohol altogether. Or can they just have the odd one?
No, they can't, because it's something in your brain that, because, I mean, I know when I was drinking, if I had a pint, I was never enjoying the pint I was having.
You're looking forward to the next one?
I was looking forward to the next one, and then you switch to wine and spirits.
Yeah.
And it's such a traumatic thing. I mean, this week, I know of 3 people within this week who have died. One who was going to die within the next couple of days through alcohol. And they tried everything. It just didn't work for them. They were just too ill with that illness.
Mm.
And I just wish, it's just trying to get the message across more to people that don't look down on them, because they are actually ill.
How do you feel now that you are without alcohol? Do you still crave it?
You get the odd pang, but because of what I've seen, what I've witnessed, what I've heard, and the damage it would cause, I am terrified.
But would it bother you if you and I were standing together in the pub, and I was drinking, I don't know, bitter or something, and you were having an orange juice? Would the fact that you could see me drinking beer make you want one more?
No, because I resent it too much now. I have such a hatred towards alcohol because I've seen the damage it initially did to my life and what it's done to others, that I detest it. I wouldn't preach to someone and say, oh, you shouldn't be having that pint, because some people are lucky enough they can control it.
Sure.
But other people, it's a dependency because they've gone too far down the line.
But doesn't it seem strange that, well, of the alcoholics I've known 1 or 2, they all were lonely, either in a bad relationship or no relationship at all. They all seem to be in need of, I don't know, rather more care and attention than most people need. They seem to be a victim. And they chose alcohol to solve their victim status.
It's escapism.
Yeah.
It's escapism because their life is so bad they don't know any other way to cope.
That's why I was saying it's not an illness. But I'll leave. I'm not going to argue with you, Martin. Thank you for the call. That's Martin in Bournemouth. This is Mary in somewhere or other. Where are you, Mary?
Near Romney.
Romney?
Yes.
In the New Forest?
No, Kent.
Kent. Oh, no, I was thinking of... What's the place in the New Forest? Not Romney. You're Romney Marshes, aren't you?
Yes.
Ah,
yes.
Right. Okay, Mary, good morning.
Yes, hello there. A friend of ours is rather large, and he went to America, and he went into a shop and asked for some shorts. And he said, I'm sorry to say this, but I need shorts in a size 22. And the assistant said to him, we start at 22, sir.
Yeah, well, this is America for you.
Yeah, well, I thought it was rather funny, actually.
22 is actually rather small for a man, isn't it?
Well, I don't think so. He looks quite large.
A 22-inch waist is about what one of those naff birds on the catwalk has.
Well, I don't think so. Not a 22 waist, a size 22 short.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Size 22.
Yes.
I don't know how that relates to the size we have in this country. I didn't know men's clothes went in sizes.
Well, I don't know, but he's very round.
Because
very round.
of all the
I thought that the Panache was quite good, and I think he bought 3 pair.
Well, actually, you've got more on that, if you can get those.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, Marilyn Monroe, you know, the woman that most men have fantasies about, or did have.
My husband liked Bridget Bardot.
Yeah, but I've got a picture of Marilyn Monroe on my bedroom wall, much to my wife's disgust. But she was, everybody thinks of her as some, willowy, slim blonde. In fact, she was size 14.
I'm 16.
14, I say, and I've just read another book that's just been published about her, I can't remember if it's by now, that she was actually a 16 in reality. It's just that she told everybody she was a 14. So all these women that now say, well, of course, I'm a normal size 12, are stick insects.
Yes, well, I'm afraid it's the way of the world, you know. When you're 16, you wish you're a 12, you know. Everything you look at is a 12. But then when you go to the 16s, it's not so nice, you know, not so fashionable.
Well, it depends. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder and all that, Mary. Thank you very much for the call. Now, you're not going to believe it. My clock's just stopped. I haven't got a clue what the time is, so somebody's going to have to tell me. Wouldn't you think we could afford batteries here? But my clock has stopped, so therefore I know we're getting near the end, but I'm not quite sure how near the end. Oh, right, we've got time. I must tell you about tomorrow night, because it's one of those rather special occasions. You need to be here early. Don't arrive after we've started. Well, you can, but chances of getting on are going to be somewhat slim. Because we're talking about parking tickets, it will be hell for 3 hours, and I shall enjoy every moment and second of it. Because in the meantime, since we spoke about it, of course, the government has been forced to look at parking tickets, and it's now in a panic. Chaos reigns in the Department of Transport, because Barry Siegel and Neil Heron have put it about what they're doing, and the government has seen the error of their ways, they've seen the error of the council's ways, they've seen the major problem that faces them and the millions of pounds they have to pay out, and they're running around chasing their own tails at the moment. So if you've got any more stories on parking tickets, tomorrow night from 10, please be here on time. I will be. Mike Mendoza will be with you right after the news at 1. Good morning. This is talkSPORT.